the Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh.
Sir?
People who are not fashionable victims. Because this is where we are today. The West, which is culturally so dominant, has distinguished a Yemeni or a Palestinian.
Man, that's literally as fashionable as it gets. What is this man on about?
My message to those who concentrate on Hamas now is really very simple. Imagine, hey, we were wrong. We're not going to do this anymore.
Hamas is not active in the West Bank. They're so fucking active. They have been a continuous problem for the time Hamas has existed. They're still an active problem there. Why do you just write them off?
Not dominant.
They're dominant. They're the most dominant. Why hasn't the PA had elections in the West Bank in the last 20 years? Because Hamas would win. That's because Hamas has power in the West. They have the most power in the West Bank. You fuck.
Ethnic cleansing galore. The eradication of any possibility of a two-state solution.
I can't take it with these people.
This is what should concentrate our minds, and this is what we should try to stress and emphasize, because we are in the West, in
You're dumb.
the world at large. We are experiencing, we are part of a war of propaganda,
No.
the purpose of which is to justify fully the state of apartheid, ethnic cleansing, and the annihilation of the people of Palestine.
They're not being annihilated. They're nowhere near.
Let's keep fighting.
Vanis fafakadikidis. They're not anywhere near annihilation. They're going to take one look at the pro-Palestine thing. I'll finish with Malaka. That's all I can say. I love you guys long time.
And mastered your mind. And all the while, you were on the train home. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen.
Mwah, mwah. That's what people sound like when they do their best to defend Nintendo from my mean words. They deserve it. Nintendo is greedy, and I'm tired of it. So I keep making fun of them. And there's so many people that defend Nintendo, even in spite of them reaching into their piggy bank and shaking it for everything that could fall out. Heavens to Betsy, Nintendo even has the gall to charge money for their tech demo welcome tour for the Nintendo Switch. This is a game went through mental gymnastics for their pricing. Occasionally for the Switch 2, they are going to remain $80 till the day you die. Occasionally they do like a deal where they drop the price temporarily on some of their titles, but that comes Nintendo where we're going over Doug Bowser's most recent interview, and they showed more from Game Chat. It looks so laggy and so old, it is insulting they would even consider charging for it. And in this interview, Doug Bowser gives no good reasons why they increased the price of the games. The reason he gives, I think, is trash. Did you watch the Bowser interview over their $80 games? I didn't watch the interview, I just saw the statement. I'll watch the interview real quick. I'm assuming it's not a long interview. It's 17 minutes. But this man actually like opened up his whole heart here. That's it. Outside of that, he ceases to exist. He just goes to the back rooms.
I guess the question now is, with the Switch 2, how do you avoid that trap again? What makes the Switch 2 a worthwhile upgrade so you don't kind of fall into that Wii U?
What kind of failure Wii U was. I was one of the victims of that. I got scammed by it.
What's happening behind us right now? And really,
I did buy a Wii U. Yeah.
That next generation.
The name Big Moist came from the Wii U. I bought it. When you played games, you could talk to your friends while doing it. Hey, people criticized Isaac Newton with gravity. Trust me here. Just stick with me. Stick with me. It's ridiculous. I'm glad it's 5 or 6 years ago.
Audio, or with 4 of them, you can have them on a video camera and have this opportunity to interact and talk about the games you're playing. News today, we're still all trying to really understand it better and understand what possible impacts, may rise from that. But nothing I can really add to, today's discussion around pricing.
I will say, while the initial price point pre-tariff analysis here is higher than most people expected, myself included, I could almost understand that. Like, I could almost be like, you know what? It is an upgrade. It is finally modern. Okay, that I can stomach. I'm very curious, and I already know from the headlines where he goes with this, how they could possibly justify not only the increased price of the hardware, but the individual game price increase as well.
Add-on. But if you buy the game itself, this got a lot of attention, as you've seen. $80, that's a lot for a game. I know it's typically not what Nintendo charges. And then we look at the Donkey Kong game that's coming out about a month later, it's $70. Can you talk a little bit about how the gaming pricing strategy is $80 kind of the benchmark for a AAA game from Nintendo? What should we be expecting?
The camera, Mario Kart World though, that's what he said in day and age. I can't think of a game that just, yeah, that makes sense. That would make sense.
Into account, you're going to look at how many hours I play before you determine if I'm worthy of buying a Switch 2. Are people going to be able to go out and buy it?
That is cute.
Innovation there with the number of hours played was really to reward our most loyal players and to give them a chance to queue up first and have an opportunity to purchase the product. Tomorrow we're going to be meeting with our retail partners, and our retail partners will have their own pre-order programs. So our goal,
and I promise you it won't be that.
The demand that's going to be out there for Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, they did announce this. I did know about it. In order to pre-order the Switch, at least through them, you have to verify that you're a Nintendo fan, fundamentally. Like, you have to verify that you engage with Nintendo products. You have a certain amount of hours. It's basically
So first of all, with Game Chat.
Looks like right out of Skype from back in the day. Oof. A Don Matrick, the company executive, is suggesting budget-conscious gamers simply settle for the first-gen Switch. Doug Bowser said the company recognizes there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. Part of these characters in these worlds and Donkey Kong Bonanza won't be offered on the Switch 1. I'm wrong. That was quick. It was in the PS3. They did have like a couple of PS3 exclusives like Resistance, Fall of Man. Oh yeah, people of that. He's like, yeah, we lost the console war.
Actually gives you more. I'm going to rate the phones based on how good I think they are in each category out of 10, and then at the end we're going to factor in the price and choose one as the definitive winner. So as far as what you get with the phones, both Google and Apple these days, exactly the same story. Cable at the bottom, and the phone. So, a very mediocre start, but also a very similar start. I'd give both of these an Apple's take on the exact same phone concept. Two devices that feel designed to go, that if we're considering the full spectrum phones I've seen with which you get a high refresh rate display, but it's turned off by default, so most people won't end up using it. Bear in mind the iPhone is slightly higher resolution, so videos might look a little crisper, and it uses stronger glass on the front. So when you factor in everything, it's not...
Yeah.
Bear in mind as well, both phones have the I sound and how the other person sounds. I'd go for 9 points than iOS, but your main phone is still an iPhone. Make it make sense. Well, that's where the next category comes in. Because where I think Apple pulls ahead is ecosystem. Most of you are likely already in and fairly locked into either the Apple or the Android ecosystem. But if you assume for a minute that you are neutral, you are deciding between these two phones and were completely open to fully adopting all of the products built on Apple's ecosystem products, earphones are a little more debatable. Because while I do think the Apple Watch, now bear in mind the upside with Zoom, but when you look at the quality, you might have thought it was 80. And then of course the iPhone's video is, so I'd say the iPhone's main to 360 Ace Pro 2, our sponsor. Up until now, you hear action camera, you hear 013 Black. And for the first 30 orders using my link, you can have yourself an exclusive 10% discount and a free all-in-one tripod like this. Link app use, with the Pixel on its smooth 120Hz mode and the iPhone just being an iPhone at 60Hz. But given that 120Hz is one of the key selling points, and because we've already given this phone extra points in the display category for having it, I think it makes sense to also keep that pretty great batteries. They both
Apple Card. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app and start using.
Because once again, we're seeing